You're wondering, what are the best suburbs to live here in Abilene? Well, I got a little list here from niche.com, and then combined with my experience of living here since 2006, this is going to be the ultimate guide. I'm going to show you all the secrets, every little detail about the city and what you need to know. If you're moving here with a family, if you're moving here, if you're single, if you're moving here with dogs, what are the best places to live? We're going to get into that right now. What up, y'all? It's Daniel DeVore with the Living in Abilene team, and if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you tap that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you get notified every time we do a new video. We honestly get so many phone calls, texts, emails every single day of people moving and relocating here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving anywhere in the Abilene area, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, it doesn't matter. We got your back when you move into Abilene, Texas. So what I want to go over in this video, just want to let you know firsthand, I'm not trying to steer anybody in any kind of direction because we can't do that as real estate agents. But I'm using a list from niche.com, publicly available information. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go over that list of all the great places to live in Abilene. And what I'm going to do is kind of just give you some of the secrets and things that aren't available by just searching. So let's jump into the map right now. All right, this is how this is going to go because Abilene is a smaller town or city compared to places like Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston. So it's a lot more spread out than those cities. So what we'll do is we'll go over the top 10. Then once we get to Abilene, we'll go a little bit more in depth into Abilene since it's the biggest part here. So first on the list is Buffalo Gap. Buffalo Gap is a pretty small city of around 1,200. It's very historic. It has a lot of places that you can view for history. Buffalo Gap got its name from the literal buffalo that were brought through it and into other areas of Texas. Now, there's a lot of hills right around Buffalo Gap, and those homes are usually like custom-built homes. Those are going to be we can help you out with those. Those are going to be $600,000 to around a little over $1 million. But inside the town of Buffalo Gap, there are not a whole, like I said, it's not a huge town. So they're older homes, and the prices are going to be from about 120 or less to around $200,000 to $300,000. Now coming into Buffalo Gap from Abilene, let's say you were coming in on Buffalo Gap Road, there are a lot of neighborhoods down through here that are just popping up, a lot of new construction. One great thing about that is you see it's about 15-20 minutes from Abilene, but one great thing about that is you're kind of away from everything. And a lot of those have larger lots, and some of them you can even have like custom buildings. The HOAs are a little more lenient, that kind of thing, and sometimes even allow things like chickens, stuff like that. But those are going to be your $350,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses. And like I said, the scenery up and down through here and through there are just, the scenery is amazing. Just lots and lots of hills, lots of open country. It's just a great place. Now, up next on the list, we're going to go west, and The city that we have next is called on the list is Merkel. Now, Merkel is a very small city as well, probably 2,000 to 3,000 people. And then it takes about 20-25 minutes to get there from Abilene. And one thing about it is closer to the Air Force Base. So if you're looking for something closer to the Air Force Base, that might be an option that you want to consider. One thing about Merkel is that there's a lot of older homes here, and so the prices are a little bit less expensive. You can find houses from 90,000 sometimes to around 200, 250. So lower price point. And also another thing, it's some of the most reasonably priced land that I've seen anywhere in the Abilene area. I've seen some for as low as $3,000 an acre, when the average in Abilene is around $10,000 an acre. And you can get tracts of 10, 15, 50, 100 acres. But there's one thing about this area is that the trees, Abilene doesn't have a lot of trees to begin with, but the trees start to get sparse the more west that you go. But it does have reasonably priced land out there. Moving on to the next one, Tuscola. Tuscola is going to be south towards Buffalo Gap, a little bit further south of Buffalo Gap. So if you take 84 all the way down, you'll hit Tuscola. And then again, like I said, there are a lot of hills around this area, a lot of open country. This is where you want to go if you want cattle, or one of the places that you want to go if you want to raise cattle, if you want to have horses, if you want to have chickens, things like that. There's also a lot of nice neighborhoods. I actually sold a house recently or helped a buyer find a house recently in this area. And it's a nice neighborhood. Price ranges of those neighborhoods are usually about 350 to right at about 500,000. The lots are bigger. That particular neighborhood had excuse me, 1 acre and 2 acre plots with each house, so the houses are more spread out. But a lot of you can get a lot of custom built around here. You can get a lot of spec houses, and we can help you out with those things if that's where you want to go. And then you see the Abilene State Park is close to there. But yeah, a lot of open country. So consider that if that's what you're trying to accomplish. All right, next up is the city of Bayard, which is east of Abilene, and that's actually where my wife grew up. So forgive me if I go into a very, very small town of like 1,400, but forgive me if I go into too much detail because I know a lot about this town. I've actually lived in and around this town for a while. I actually live around this area in between Bayard and Clyde right now. But it is a quaint little small town. House prices are, if you're looking for a very reasonably priced house, this is one of the places that you can go to find it. House prices sometimes are as low as $70,000-$80,000. And then they actually have a few neighborhoods. These are within the town. They're all older houses. But then if you come over here, there's a lot of newer construction over here. And then, excuse me, I don't know what's going on here. And then there's a hill up here where there's a little bit higher price point. But on this neighborhood, around this area, your price point's going to be around 200,000, 250, sometimes up to 300,000. Up around this hill area, you're looking at 300, 400,000. And then I'll just go into a little bit of detail here. There's the RV Super Center, Loves. It's kind of just your typical I like to call them interstate town. And it does have a good little downtown, and there's festivals and Railhead Festival that I actually ran in. I did a 3K last year in this town, and they do a couple of different festivals. And then Circa is a restaurant I've eaten at a lot, and it is a very good restaurant. Um, and then one little known thing about this town is it actually has a lollipop factory in the downtown. You would have never guessed that, but it does. And they sell suckers or lollipops all over the U.S., which is kind of cool. And then a really cool thing, it's kind of in between Baird and Clyde, is Shady Oaks Golf Course. Now, being so small, you wouldn't think much about it. You would think, oh, I can't even believe there's a golf course there. But I've played on this golf course many, many times, and it's actually a very good golf course for being a small town, and the greens are some of the best kept I've seen. Um, but it's a really good golf course. So just something to consider, and they have decent prices for a game of golf. All right, moving on. Next, we have the city of Tye, which is west of Abilene. Now, Tye is very close to the Air Force Base, as you can see. There, it's not much of a city, to be honest. It's just very spread out homes here. If you're looking to be close to Abilene or the Air Force Base, but you want a lot of land, then this is a place you can definitely get what you're looking for. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as being a town, it's not. It's kind of a spot in the road, to be completely honest. Um, but it was on the list, and I wanted to cover it. And it's close to the Air Force Base, which a lot of people like a lot. And the Abilene Speedway, it's close to Abilene. It's close to downtown Abilene as well. Um, but just wanted to cover it there. Now, next up on that list is Cross Plains, and not 100% sure. I mean, this was on the Callahan County list, but I'm not 100% sure why, because Cross Plains is actually really far. So that's going to take you about 45 minutes um, to get to Abilene from Cross Plains. Now, Cross Plains is a town. I mean, it's a decent sized city. I think they're a town of about 2 or 3 thousand. There's a Dairy Queen. There is a grocery store and a couple other little things there. And I mean, if you're looking for a just a country town, this is the one you want to go to. And there's tons of land around here. A lot of people, raise goats, chickens, livestock, all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you're looking to just get out in the sticks, Cross Plains is one of the places you want to go. Now, on next to the city of Clyde. Now, I'm going over all these small cities, but like I said, I'm going to get into Abilene. I'm just trying to cover these small cities first, but I'm going to get into Abilene, where I'm going to spend the bulk of the time because I'm going to break down all of Abilene. So hold off for that. Don't leave yet, because I'm going into Abilene and going to go over the whole thing. Now, the city of Clyde is a decent sized city. It has a lot to do there. It is a town of about 4,000 people, and it is rapidly growing, and it is projected to grow about, I think they said, 6 to 7 times that size in the next 5 years. Now, those are just speculations, so I don't know for sure, but they are building a lot of stuff there now. There's a cool little park here that my wife goes to, as you can see. My wife goes to, there's a homeschool group that meets up there, and my kids are homeschooled, so and she loves going there. I've actually been there once with the kids and met up with the homeschool group. And then there's a Sonic. There's an actual grocery store there, like a full-fledged grocery store. So you don't even have to leave this area. They have a neat little downtown as well. I actually get my hair cut a lot of times at this little barber shop there. Um, but so if you're looking to kind of get out from Abilene, be in a town that has a good amount of stuff, but also be able to, you know, buy land and get out there and get a lot of land, then Clyde might be the spot for you. And then you're close to your a golf course. I mean, it really has a lot of stuff for a small town. Uh, it's has the best of both worlds, like a small city with country and golf course, grocery store, all that kind of stuff. All right, now going back into Abilene, we're going to break down Abilene into some of the areas. Okay, now Abilene, one kind of interesting thing about Abilene is the city is kind of split in two, as you can see right here. It has that road goes straight through it, and that is North First and South First Street. And there's actually a railroad that goes through the middle of the city, and that thing, it does like that train. A lot of times will do like 70 through there. It sounds crazy, but yeah, it does like 70. So if you're within like a mile or two, that's something to consider because they do blow the horn a lot. But over here to the east, right in this area, is going to be your downtown Abilene. Lots of big buildings. You wouldn't think Abilene has large buildings, but it does. 20, 30-story buildings right here. But it's up and coming. There's a lot to do here. And there's actually some apartments and some other things, other places you can live in this area, in the downtown area, and it's really an up and coming like cool spot. That's on the North First side. If you go over to the South First side, there is a place called the Soda District that's really up and coming. There's a lot of stuff like breweries. There's the Mill Wine Bar. I think Abilene Axe Company. There's a cool coffee shop over here. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff coming up right in this area. And then there's some newer houses that they just built, like almost like townhomes in this area too. I think they're around 250, 300,000. And then if you're looking to, move in this area, there's some houses around this area. It varies wildly because there's big houses, there's large houses, and there's small houses. But I mean, you're going to be paying anywhere from, they have houses as low as like 85,000, and some as high as like 350, 400,000. This is the oldest part of the town. So as you know, if you've ever been to any old part of the town, in most cities, that's how it is. Is there's really expensive, really smaller price points. Sorry. And then when you get over a little more west in this area, most of the houses are older, built in the 60s, 70s, 80s. There's a few newers, but mostly 60s, 70s, and 80s. Price points range wildly, or not wildly, but they range from as low as 120 up to 250,000. Then we have Hendrick Health over here. This is your one of two large hospitals. Then getting over to Abilene Christian University right here. That is the largest university. There are three universities in Abilene. That is the largest one. And as you can see, they have a huge football field. huge campus, giant campus, and there's a lot of houses being built in this area. You know, older houses in this area. They're starting to build a lot of houses up around this area, and those are going to be mostly newer construction up here. They're building a ton up here, and those are going to be 300,000 to 350, $400,000 houses. Now, moving down to the south side, we're coming on down. Now, the Sells Boulevard area is one of those kind of historic, like old homes that are like fixed up really nice. And I mean, all the way down Sells Boulevard area. Sorry, right here. There's a lot of super nice houses down through here. But the price points, even on the side streets, the price points are going to be 300 to 400, sometimes 500,000. Then the further out you get from those streets is going to be more of a, you know, 100 or 180, $200,000 houses. All right, moving on from Sells Boulevard. Then you come down, and this area, that's where the second university is McMurray University, and the other is, right, I can't think of where it's at. Anyway, so coming down, these prices are going to be usually, I mean, there's a lot of diverse houses through here. Most of them are older, built in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They are between 150 to about 250,000, depending on the house. Now, we come down here. We're getting to what we call the Wiley area, and the reason it's called Wiley is because that's for the Wiley School District, and then Wiley, if you see, this is where there's a lot of different things. There's Mall of Abilene, Academy, Sam's Club. If I zoom in further, you'll just see more and more. Lowe's, all kinds of stuff. So this is an area, if you want to be close to Abilene, or close to everything, great schools. Here's our second hospital. These are older homes built right in here. These are going to be 80s, built in the 80s, most of them. And these are going to be around 250 to 350,000 on average. Then if you come down further, there are newer homes in this area. This area right here, this is actually the neighborhood that I live in, that I own a house in. And these price ranges from 250, well, from about 190, 180 to about as high as in like this neighborhood, about 450,000. And then if you come over to this area, and Buffalo Gap is the main road that you're going to travel to get to the majority of the things in Abilene area. If you come over to this area, this is still Wiley School District. These mostly, in Kirby Lake is a pretty nice lake. There's a lot of houses around here, and most of these are newer construction. These are going to be your houses from about 350 to 400,000, and then if you come further over this way, you're going to have upwards of 800,000, 5 to 800,000. These are right in here beside Kirby Lake are more the spec homes. These coming out here. There are some higher price point spec homes, but there's also a lot of custom homes down here or over here. And once you start getting over here, you usually these houses have more land with them. They come 1, 2, 3, up to 5 acre plots with those. Um, and then there's a couple of, this is all the Wiley area right in here. But then you come over this way, there are, you're a little bit closer to Dyess Air Force Base, and newer construction over this way, and they have the larger plots of land. So it just kind of depends on if you want to be closer to everything and Dyess, closer to everything, with a great school district. And these aren't, that's not me trying to steer you into this school district. I'm pulling these stats from niche.com. They say that I think the Wiley School District has like an A minus in according to niche.com on their schools there. Now, if we come down to Potosi, that's the #1 spot according to niche.com to live in Abilene. I mean, you're near everything. You're close to Abilene. These, I actually sold a house here recently. It was a house. So these have larger lots. They're 1 to 2 acre lots. They're a horse-friendly neighborhood. A lot of these, the average price point around here is going to be $350,000 to $450,000. Some of the neighborhoods are upwards of $500,000 to $600,000. And then one cool thing about this is they have, it's not like a big place, but they have, Dollar General, some bar and grills, Potosi Live, which is a cool spot where they do a lot of events, all kinds of stuff like that. And the further you get out, the more land you're going to have. But yeah, Potosi, it's not the top of my list exactly, but it is a cool spot. If you want to know, more about what my list would be, hit me up, contact me, and I can help you out. I can go into a lot more detail than what I went in this video, because I could literally spend a couple hours on just describing more in detail about these areas. There's a lot I know about them. Anyway, so that's the list. Like I said, that's not exactly my list of what it would be, and I'd like to go into more detail, but you have to reach out if you want more detail, or if you want to. Let's just reach out and we can help you find the right spot of what you're trying to accomplish, like what your kids want to do. We can go into more details about schools. I love helping people. I just want to help you find the right spot for you and your family. So if you're wanting to move to Abilene in the next 12 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Even if it's even further out than 12 months, hit us up. The number's right there. My email's right there. Days, nights, weekends, it doesn't matter. We got you back when you move in Abilene, Texas. See you later.